Yeah, generally it's looking still pretty good. Kind of the market sentiment looks like very similar to yesterday. Bitcoin a little bit over 70. You have Ethereum at 3.5. Fairly green, but not extremely high percentages here. So it's still looking pretty good overall. Actually, I came across an article this morning. So yesterday, I think Vitalik, he posted another blog. He does that once in a while, and it's often viewed as almost a little bit of a roadmap for the crypto space, especially everything that is around Ethereum. And apparently, he actually discussed meme coins at this time because there have been like some really bad, like, racist and fascist type of meme coins, and which is very unfortunate. But he said overall, like, I mean, besides all those negative ones that, I mean, what can you do? It's just people doing it, right? And it should be decentralized, the crypto space. So you have people that maybe have some different views, right, that we do not support. But overall, he said actually, yeah, meme coins are very important because they can do good things, especially if they're used for example, raising funds for charity. That is much more relatable for people, or they have much more fun to do that, or it's much more visible to people than maybe just donating Ethereum to a charity. They can, because the meme coins, they can build those communities and they can, create a theme around a token. And so you have people seeing that and coming into it, and then they might actually be much more willing to, give some money to a good cause. That's one take he had on it. And I still think that, overall, meme coins are still, I mean, they're all like the other things they have out there. It's just the Pokemon cards, or like, you have always these phases that, especially younger people, they just like to associate themselves with, right? And so I do think they contribute to a large degree to adoption of cryptocurrencies. It's a motivation for people to look into it and learn how this all works. And then they might realize, oh, maybe they didn't think when they bought Doge, like they didn't care what crypto was all about. But then they come in touch with all these communities and within each community, you have people that truly, deeply care about the ideals crypto is founded on, which is decentralization, that you're not relying on a large institution that mainly is working for their own profits, that everybody can access it. There is no one that prevents you from doing so, and just creating more equality overall, and also obviously protection from inflation, even though meme coins probably are not the best way to do that. But I do think, like, through the meme coins, people are motivated more, especially younger folks, to make the first leap, because it's not easy. If you never had done it, it's not easy to make that step, and it is the step that you have to take for your so-called freedom, right? Because all we do here in DeFi, that's basically what the banks do. And so all that stuff, you have to learn how they do it, essentially. They do it differently, but it's the same things that they have to deal with. Um, and so you have to do that all yourself, because you're owning your cryptocurrency and you're not relying on a third party to do all the managing of it. Yeah, so you have to manage all your different accounts and move money around, and you have to care about the fees and all that stuff, which is all like just on the background happening in the traditional banking system, because Visa is like a layer 3, The only reason why they can't settle like these payments so quickly, right? Because it's actually not really settled. It's just the front end basically. They keep track of the balances, and then it takes days until it goes from one bank to another, or even weeks. And I think they do that even like monthly or weekly, that the banks actually settle on their ledgers. And so you can imagine it's the same structure. It's like you have a base layer that's extremely slow, and then you have all these layers on top of it, which make it more efficient and more efficient. And what's cool about crypto is that you now see how this all is built, which is very obscure and not very transparent in the traditional banking system. So I think, yeah, the meme coins, they do help for people to take the first leap, because it is not the simplest thing to do, even though it's also not very difficult, or less difficult than people think. Yeah, that was just my little rant, and like inspired by Vitalik's take on meme coins. And I think, yeah, lots of people look down on them, but I do think if they're run honestly and with good intentions, I think they contribute very much to the space. And we're gonna, yeah, I think our Flaming tokens, they are a little bit like meme coins, so that's why I also bring it up. So, Michael, did you want to briefly, maybe we can keep it short today, over the numbers, and then we can get started with creative?
Yeah, so we have some decent amount of folks in the room today, so I do see a lot of familiar faces. I'm also go into everything in complete detail about Earn. I think most of you guys should know. If not, please read the website or the white paper. But yeah, quickly over the numbers. About $3.5 million market cap, about 280,000 in LP. Circling supply is now down to 331 million, 160,000. Still just shy of 1,000 holders, exactly 855 and growing. Also on the Ethereum side, I think we're almost close to 1,000 holders on the BNB side. And then we also have holders on Solana and Base Chain. Earn is multi-chain, so you guys are going to see Earn on multiple different blockchains. We haven't yet announced the next one, but we are on BNB, Solana, Base, and Ethereum. That's where everything comes from, the Ethereum side. Ethereum's the only one you can earn reflections on. Some people have asked a question about that. Why don't you earn reflections on BNB and Solana or Base? That's because Earn is bridged from ETH over to the other chains where it exists in a zero fee environment, but also with low taxes. Super cool, like how we have that set up. So imagine the tokens on BNB and Solana on Base has a transaction currency that's also hyperdeflationary, as you just hold it and be part of the ecosystem. So charts looking overall really good. I mean, nice recovery. We had a little bit of a sell-off recently, but like I say repeatedly, DCA, and hopefully you did. I think we dipped down to something like $1 million market cap, so we're about 3x up from there, which is cool. I think we're only 3x from our all-time high too. My prediction of Earn being at about $5 per token in 1 to 5 years is still what I feel based on the current numbers that we're seeing, and that's adoption and how the chart is just simply moving in the overall crypto market. I posted a nice little image inside the chat. If you guys haven't given it a look yet, it basically says that if Earn goes to $4.64, that is going to be roughly a $2 billion market cap. And here's something fun. If you had $500 invested today at that price per token, your $5 is $281,320 worth at that price. Pretty wild. And actually, that's only at 562x. And I think it's honestly less because it doesn't account for all the burning that takes place as that happens. But something to take note of. The platform I'm using for this is one that we got listed on, which is cool. It's called Compare Market Caps. It also tells you, as I posted here, that our all-time high is only 3.12x away. And it's pretty cool because you can also look and see what our price would be if we're in the top like 200, 100, or 50 of all cryptos, if you were curious to see that. So yeah, that's the project. For those that don't know, there's a lot more to it in regards to like the flamelings and the flames and all that stuff that's set up and stuff that's being worked on. But yeah, today we're going to talk with Creative and then let any other folks that want to come up and speak definitely feel free to join.
Yeah, so I just had the idea that maybe we can try to once a week or so highlight one of our community members because there are quite a few that put a lot of work into the Flameling tokens or are otherwise very active, and just maybe to get to know them a little bit better. And it's always interesting to hear how someone like got into crypto because there are always a lot of different backgrounds. They have many different stories, how people come into crypto and the reasons for it. So I'm excited to hear a little bit more about creative. So probably a lot of people in the space, they know you already, but since it's recorded and I will also share it out, can you maybe introduce yourself a little bit and talk about what got you into crypto in the very beginning, and how did you end up in our Earn community? And just whatever you are willing to share about yourself or personal life.
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone, no matter where you are in the world. I go by CreativeCuse. I'm young when it comes to being in crypto comparatively. I know a lot of people talk about when Bitcoin began and they've been in seeing 3 or 4 different cycles. For me, I got in around the time of the pandemic, 2019, is when I first got my intro into crypto. Before that, I was doing some options trading and different things like I don't want to say sniping options, but really quickly, grabbing them, watching them go up, and getting rid of them. So that was what I was into, and crypto to me just seemed intriguing. So a couple of coworkers, teachers that worked with me, introduced me to a couple of coins. I remember one of them being super excited about Safe Moon and talking about the 5% reflections, and it's a deflationary token. So I had no idea how to get a wallet, had no nothing. So it really started right there. I'd always heard of Bitcoin, but in my mind, coming from the traditional money side, it was always like something that was scammy and kind of something that like people who were hacking were dealing with. So I did not know a lot about crypto. Um, so I'm new-ish. I remember I got into Evergrow and I was excited about it. I hung out in all the Safe Moon spaces, Safe Moon After Dark. I was excited about it. I kind of drank the Kool-Aid a little bit. And then November 21 happened. I think it was October, the end of October, October 31st, like that Halloween. And then the next day, everything turned to crap. And it was just like from there, it was kind of my baptism by fire into crypto. But in real life, I think most people know I am a school principal. I've been in education just about 25 years. And that is the lens that I take into crypto. I really like to teach and kind of get to know how things work. My first real project ever, like working with in terms of doing a lot of work to support, was one that was called Rematic. Um, it was a BSC token. That their aim was to create a voting platform for like real life voting, where like municipalities and different people could get some voting done. I don't think it ever hashed out, but I started there doing some design work and helping them supporting that token. So that's a little bit about my journey in crypto.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm actually surprised that the voting thing hasn't really catched on yet because I think that would be an ideal use case for blockchain technology. And I think there are lots of different projects out there, but nothing has really caught on really. But that is really interesting. So awesome. So we were also observing SafeMoon fairly closely because I actually got into crypto at a similar time like you. And yeah, there was like on BNB just this like reflection explosion in 2020, 21. So yeah, that was interesting to observe. And partly SafeMoon was also inspiration to create Earn because reflection tokens are fun, but they just always have this scam associations. We wanted to
Yeah.
make something better. Yeah. So so I know that you are involved in quite a few projects very closely. So I think one of those is Celaboba, right?
Oh yeah.
Do you want a little bit talk about that? Because I think you started that before you even came to Earn, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So Zalaboba. Uh, so little history on that. I'm in the Brew Labs very heavily. Did a lot of work with Brew Labs. So some Chads from Brew Labs started Zelaboba. I had went on a crypto hiatus, as I sometimes do around the month of October. It's just a crazy time in my school life. So came back that spring. I took a long time off, and then a couple of people like, hey, we want you to get involved in Zalaboba. So on the design and kind of like a strategic side, I started doing some work with some of the team members. I wasn't part of the team, but at that time, Zalaboba was a meme coin on BSC, launched in the bear market like April 2023, I believe. Yeah, so we're coming up on a year. I didn't get involved in Zalaboba until about July. So I was doing some behind the scenes work, some graphic design type stuff. And then there was an incident with the team to where one of the team members got a little bit disgruntled and like sold his bag, and it just tanked the project. So I kind of forced my way on the team. I was like dedicated to it. So I was like, hey, had a phone call try to come through. Can you hear me?
Yep, we
Yes,
can hear
yes.
Oh, good. Okay. So I kind of forced my way on the team. I was like, look, I don't want this project to go down. Let me help. At that time, they let me on, and we started behind the scenes. The team talked about moving away from BSC because a lot of people we knew were in the BSC space, and we wanted to kind of find a new chain that we can kind of grow the meme scene on. So we selected Arbitrum, had to do a new contract because the BSC contract was renounced, which caused us some problems because people still trade on it. But we went over to Arbitrum, and we've been living there ever since. Now, it's been a hard road because Arbitrum tends to be a stuffy, I call it like the UNC of crypto. People are kind of really high tech and everything, but starting to work out now. The meme scene is growing. I do a lot of graphic work for the Zelaboba, including website design, which Zelaboba just started a whole workshop suite to where we're helping projects out with like sticker um, design, graphic design, infographics, all the kind of stuff that me and a couple other people on the team are super good at. We're kind of monetizing that and putting it into something we call the cookie jar, which is a AYP kind of yield thing that we're actually happy. Like every day, we wish we had more in it because it's turning over a pretty good profit to build up. So that's kind of where we are with Zelaboba. The sad thing about me is I am not the TG type person. I'm behind the scenes, super hard working. I'm kind of the face of the project. Like I don't think anybody else out there has shown their face, but through that, Jelaboba helped us launch. Nick and I, who's down in the audience here, we launched the Crypto Sip and Shield actually as a way to help support Zelaboba, which then ended up leading me to Earn and thousands of other projects. So it's been real fruitful. If it were not for Zelaboba, I probably would not know Earn. So that's how that
Oh,
works.
that's interesting. Yeah. So how did you come across Earn? So was it Nick that got you onto it, or
No, it was
yeah?
I mean, surprisingly, I don't know how Mikey ended up in our space. Nick and I were doing a Thursday night show. We were just, our show usually gets about 10 to 15 people. Sometimes when we have a good guest in there, we get 40. Then Mikey popped in and he just started talking about Earn and um, just explaining it, and it was just the conviction in his voice. And I popped into the TG, and 48 hours after he was in the spaces when the Earn had that first major run up, like I didn't catch it like early. I didn't
Yeah.
catch it early. I caught it like at like $300,000 or $400,000 market cap. So I guess it's early, but it just took off. So
Oh, nice.
not that we had anything to do with it, but we can
Yeah.
kind of fake it like we do.
Yeah. Nice. Nice. Yeah. So you were one of the were you the third Flameling token, I believe?
I think I was like the
No, you
fifth.
were the fifth or something. We had first 159. Yeah, we had 13. We started with 13, then we had Wookie with 21, and then I think 159, and then maybe it was you or, yeah, I think it
Zero X
was with
Zero
you.
Alchemist, I think. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Alchemist was first. That's right. Yeah, so what made you want, so I assume you're super busy already with Celabobo and stuff, so but you basically applied, or if you can call it like that, for a Flameling token. So, what inspired you to take that on? Because it's quite the challenge to run a project. You have been doing it really well. So, um, what motivated you to take your Flameling and turn it into a token?
Um, I've always wanted to be at the start of something. Truthfully, I did not think I would be selected. I was kind of like, okay, well, I don't have a shot in the world. Maybe sometime in the summer or later, I'll get around
Yeah,
to it. So that was I've always wanted to lead a token, and then the fact that you guys are offering the support, writing the contract, helping and supporting the liquidity and the locking of that stuff, I just didn't know. Like I
yeah,
know it needed to be done, but I just didn't have the background in it. So you made it simple, and you
yeah.
know, and immediately once I got selected, I was like, oh heck yeah, let me start putting everything that I have into this. So I know a lot of people say you came out the gate like super fast, and how are you going to sustain that? But I think I've been doing pretty doggone well sustaining it. So
Yeah, no, you've been doing an amazing job. No, I mean that's really also the idea behind all these Flaming tokens, that the entry is easier because you learn so much running your own project. You understand the space so much better when you run your project. You know what's going on behind the scenes. I mean, I heard you mention, like, now you're getting contacted with all these probably 99% scammers that want to get you a listing somewhere or some weird ass promotion. And yeah, it just, you look at it in different angle, and I think it's a huge educational piece that we can provide through these Flamelink tokens to get the people really involved and get to know how this is and what a token is really about, how it is. And it's really just a little bit like running a small business. And you took on this challenge really well. So maybe now you could talk about a little bit about your Flaming token, because maybe there are some people in the room or then listen to the recording that don't know the details of it, because there's a lot of different pieces you have going on. So it would be great if you could talk a little bit about your vision for the Flaming token and what you've been doing and what maybe comes in the future.
sure. 0x177 is my baby. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the ride. Um, so for those who don't know, of course, all the Flameling tokens have the 4/4 tax, 2% of that, which goes back to earned dividends on the BSC side. So the other 2% is for like project development and whatnot. But for me, what I wanted to do is start out with some type of use case for the token. So my original plan was to, upon launch, buy a significant amount, like to buy back the token supply. The reason I wanted to do that is because I wanted to have some flexibility in the future. I started with a 177 piece collection, NFT collection called the Flame Starters. The Flame Starters are basically lighters, like you see in my PFP. Some simple, some more complex. The one that you see in my PFP is I think it's a rare one. And so we have 4 different levels. We have common, uncommon, rare, and legendary. All of these cost 1 million 0x177 tokens and point 0.10 BNB. Now, right now, that seems a little bit expensive, but when we first launched, it was pretty much nothing. People were minting left and right. We launched with 177. Right off the gate, about 40 minted. Right now, we're at 96, I believe. And I do pay out like some prizes for minting at certain milestones. Like our next milestone is 100. At 100, I'll be giving out $200 in BNB. So the reason I wanted to do this is, number one, I wanted to recapture supply. So what that does is give me flexibility down the road. It makes our treasury wallet, which I call the fire pit, the largest holder of the 0x177 token. So anytime there's a buy seller of 0x177, most of the reflections will be, or the dividends will be going back to the Fire Pit wallet. The holders of the rare and the legendary Flame Starter NFTs will be getting a share, claimable share of those earned dividends that have been collected through that Fire Pit wallet. The remaining NFTs, in addition to the legendary and the rare, will get a share of claimable tokens or assets that we have also accumulated in the Fire Pit wallet. So right off the bat, to show my seriousness about it, I put 1% of the Zella supply from my personal holdings into the Fire Pit wallet. I also bought some Flamelings. I bought some other things. So that Fire Pit wallet holds some assets, and it also holds right now about 10.5% of the 0x177 token. For me, that gives flexibility. If I want to go down the road and offer staking, I can, because I have rewards to do that. Offering staking through tokens that have already been paid for versus tokens that are taken out of supply. If I ever want to move over to a central exchange, we have a supply to do that as well. And the beautiful thing about if we choose to move to a central exchange, I say we, as if I got more than one person, but if you take those tokens to a central exchange, they're not going to be taxed, I believe. So the remaining tokens on the BSC side that are on the DEX will be taxed and receiving the dividends. So it just kind of gave some flexibility to that part. Another piece is the merch store. Let me go back. For me, it's important to build something. As an educator, I want something sustainable. I'm not looking for super rapid up and down. I don't mind that because it's a dividend token. That's great. But I want something sustainable, and I'm trying to attract the crypto curious. These are people I describe as, they heard about it, they hear about Bitcoin, they see all the moves it's making through ETFs, but they want to get into something they feel like they can get started in early and that's safe. So the crypto curious is what I'm after. So what I want to do is educate those folks. So part of that is coming up with a whole new website called seizethemomentum.com, which is a main website that houses information on the 0x177. So that keeps up with the whole ecosystem, talks about the
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
NFTs, talks about the Fire Pit and what's going on with the Fire Pit. Just introduced a merchandise store about 2 weeks ago, the Momentum merch store through Etsy. Thank you guys for your support on that. In addition to that, I'm working behind the scenes on something called Momentum Media, which will be a subscription-based, sort of like what we're doing now, talking and kind of a podcast, things that you learn in crypto that early people would want to pick up on. And I'm not trying to charge people arm and leg, because of what I want people to do is get the knowledge, and I want people to have money left over to invest. So I may charge maybe $3.99 a month to subscribe to that little content. I mean, that's later on down the road, three or four different tiers of that. As you get to the higher tier, you will need the 0x177 token to access that information. So that's kind of down the road, but that's kind of where we're going. I'm comfortable sharing all that. I don't mind if people jump on it and do their own thing about it, because at the end of the day, we're 4, 5, 6% adoption worldwide. If you can do something to help more people get into crypto safely, more power to you. So that's kind of a little.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think also that's a crucial part of our job to, as crypto enthusiasts, or almost like full-time crypto, to get those people who are like basically hooked up and get them educated about it, because yeah, as I mentioned earlier, it is like a little bit of a step. How have you felt? Like, have you been so? Um, Michael and I have been struggling to like get people that we know onboarded essentially. How has your environment responding to it in terms of when you talk about crypto, when you talk about your own project? Have they been, I mean, maybe they were supportive, but didn't really want to get in. How has your experience been so far?
You're talking about normies. You want to
Oh,
call them normies?
Normies.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I've done it for a while. You know, the one thing I have to be careful with is I have what I call undue influence as a principal. So a lot of my
right.
teachers I know, I call them teacherpreneurs. They always want to do something different. They want to do something extra. They ask me, but when you try to break it down and show them things, it just takes a long time. I remember trying to do like 2 or 3 seminars after work and basically tell them like, look, I'm not responsible for whatever you get into. But no, what I find is most people want you to tell them what to get into. They want you to
Mm-hmm.
tell them how to do it. And most times they even want to say, hey, if I give you the money, can you do it for me? And I'm like, nah, I can't do that. Give me,
No
I don't know
joke,
all the
man.
tax
No
implications.
joke.
Yeah,
They
our
like they
friend
don't
said
even.
exactly the same. She said, "Why can't I just give you the money and you do it
Yeah,
for me?"
yeah.
So many people
So,
do that. They're like, "Can I just give you like thousands of dollars and you take care of it?" I'm like, "No." Like, I had a friend the other day that's like, "I want to put $100,000 into crypto," and I'm like, "Okay." Like, can I just give you the money and do it for me? I'm like, "No, that's not how that works. You need to put in a little bit of work and do it."
right, right.
It's like, geez.
Yeah, so that's the thing I'm trying to educate and build and start slow. There's so many different resources out there already about how to set up wallets, but I think the one thing that helps me out is I do have a good amount of credibility over the course of a career, of course of being a family man and who my family is and what we are. Um, so what most people who are looking at what I'm doing right now is all they know is a chart. So when I look at my chart, like all they want to see is a chart that goes up. That's the first thing that people
Mm-hmm.
who are I'm close to. If they see a chart that goes up, they're like, okay, I'll put a little bit in it because I trust it. I trust you. When they see a chart that goes down, then they get a little sketchy. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
have it. The current where my current chart is right now, I'm comfortable. I'm fine with. But the people who are close to me who would want to get in don't want to see my current chart. So it's kind of like, okay, how do I get it to a place to where they can see that yeah, it's going to go down, but there are going to be moments where it goes up, and that's where we are now. But I've had some sellers. Been watching a few wallets that every time I get a little bit up, they will definitely take me down and say, if you just sit for a little while, I can bring more people in. But I mean, I never know people's what they have to do and why they do what they do. But yeah, that's where we are now. Like I have a slew of people who are like waiting, but I'm like, yeah, I know what they're into. Like I know they right now, they just want the chart, and after that,
Yeah.
you can get the education for them and what they need. But so
So what I found is from doing this for a little while, I've learned that time is on your side.
yeah,
So there are and that's what even Warren Buffett says. The market is a mechanism of moving money from the impatient to the patient hands. And so since day one, I've mentioned that I have this DCA strategy where I just buy up a certain amount that's comfortable for me, my own personal amount, and I just do that repeatedly. And you can see something that's happening. If someone does that over and over again, they can easily scoop up a large amount of the supply. We have someone, I don't know, like, they're not talking to the community very often, but our second largest holder of Earn has been doing these tiny, I guess tiny, because I think it's not just me, but they're doing this DCA buys over and over and over again since we launched this token. And I saw the other day they did another $250 buy off the chart, and they're just adding up, and it's working their way up there. And I don't know what schedule they're on, but it's interesting watching someone else do it. And so, these folks actually that want chart to go up immediately, that they have their own time, they have their own timelines. I mean, just let them in and out. The way the tokenomics work, especially even on the Flameling tokens, is that on transactions, that wallet that you have is just getting bigger and bigger off of those dividends that are being collected, and then you could just keep accumulating supply as time goes on, because I would assume that most people would rather buy 177 at a 20K market cap versus buying it at a 200K market cap. You know,
yeah.
Same thing. Yeah. So I would just take it as like time's on your side, just accumulate, and then people are going to FOMO at some point. I'm certain that we're going to have a lot of people buying Earn at 50, 100 million on the market cap, wishing they would have bought it at sub 10 million. I mean, it's no different. I said the same thing at 50K. I said it at 500K, and I'm saying it today too. Just DCA and don't try to time these bottoms and tops, because the markets turn really quick, and then you're chasing a green candle. And so I always tell people that, this DCA, take your time, and if you see something there, take it as an opportunity. But I know a lot of people like to trade and move from one thing to another really quickly because they think they can get 1,000x in a week, like this influencer told them they could. But that's a good way to get wrecked. And it's just people are impatient and they live these dreams of like, oh, I can become rich overnight. And it's just not the case. You got to put in the damn work. You know, it's how it really happens, and most people just don't get that. But it's cool seeing those in the space that do.
Yeah. So the thing I know, like, the most of the people I will be inviting in will never be in my Telegram. They will never be on X. Very few of them will. If I could set up a way where they could put in $20 a month and just let it ride, they would do that. Like, this is what the people my teacher people and educators and family folks want to do. Hey, let me just throw in $20 a month, never look at it, and you tell me when it's good. Like, that's what they want to do. Um, and I wouldn't say they're lazy. It's just that they want it to be as painless as possible. And right now, it's kind of painful because there's so much to do to access it. So
Oh no, definitely. I have
Yeah.
a someone that put in like 1,000 or maybe even more at around like 800K, and they've never joined a TG. They'll just DM me directly, ask me what's going on and what's happening, and I'm like, you can literally just, and I send a Telegram link, and they never do. They never join. They just want to message directly instead of joining a space, join a TG. But it's like that. They want to put money in, but they don't want to be part of anything. You're gonna get those that want to do stuff like that, which I guess is it's fine on its own level. But yeah, that's always a common thing. You know, people they see these smaller cap cryptocurrencies as like Bitcoin, and I get it. I don't join the Litecoin TG. I don't join the. Are we? I don't even know if Tezos has a Telegram. You know, we have a lot of money in that. We're not involved in that every single
Yes.
day.
Yeah.
we have
No.
we have like tens of thousands of dollars in that project. We're not into TG, or even if they have one, or giving them likes. I mean, maybe I'm a bad Tezos community member if I'm going to say that because I'm not liking and reposting things that they're putting out there. But we have money invested.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think the bigger it becomes, the less you feel incentivized to, put in the work. Because if it's a small tight knit community, then you feel like you're a much bigger part of it, right? So I think that's why these flaming tokens are ideal because they create these sub communities, but they're essentially promoting earn, but it makes everyone feel be a bigger part of these sub communities, right? So I think, I mean, eventually they might grow to something big, but because they're more intimate, each of them, I think it's ideal for people to feel more like valued or just more impactful, right? What they're doing. So I think that's ideal about them. I feel more incentivized. I mean, obviously, with Zero Project, but yeah, if there is a large community out there, like a lot of other people do already stuff, and you feel like, oh, what I do is just like such a small thing that probably nobody will see and will not really change anything. So I think that's ideal to have these sub communities and hopefully like they grow eventually to something bigger, right? And I think having an outlook of maybe not the next 3 years or 5 years, but 2030, like when you think of, like, if you believe in crypto and you think it's something to stay, currently, I think I put a post out a few days ago. Like currently, the Bitcoin adoption is estimated to maybe 1%, considering that lots of people 1% of the world population. So considering that many people have many wallets and so on, and Bitcoin is the largest part of crypto these days, and so for the Ethereum ecosystem and all these side chains, it's even smaller, right? But typically, if there is a new technology adopted, it makes it to about 80% of the world population when you compare it to like cell phones, for example, or the internet access. So that's kind of the peak where you get when how many people will use it eventually. So if blockchain technology and crypto is here to stay and it is actually solving problems in the real world, it will eventually go to that 80%. And given that all these like Flameling tokens are earned, they're like pegged to the larger ecosystem through BNB or Ethereum. And those, I just can't imagine them to go completely away. It's like it's just hard to believe that this is going to collapse. It will evolve and it might look extremely different in 30 years. Probably the user experience is going to be much different. Like nobody has to care about the things you need to learn are going to get less and less and less because there will layers over layers will make it easier for people to access it. And so when you think about it this way, it's just like you don't have to worry about these up and downs at all. Because if you have money in there that you can park for like 20, 30 years and you're saving it for your family, for your kids, for your grandchildren, because you just want to set them up that they have a good life in the future, then you don't really have anything to worry about. It's really if you are in need of quick capital, then yeah, then it's a more difficult decision and much more difficult space to navigate, in my opinion.
That's a good point you put there about like money down the line. And, I say things about like earn being at X amount per token in 1 to 3 years, which is about 500 times the current price right now. Um, in 5 years, something going up 500x traditional finance is not something that you find. Not, and then you buy a house, you buy land, invest in stock. I mean, that's not really that. Like you get lucky, but that's highly unlikely. But we're not talking about percentage rates. We're talking about like X's essentially. But in crypto, you can see stuff like that happening, and a lot of that happens with projects they have good structure, good foundation, tokenomics, and it's just designed that way. And you take all the bullshit out of it. That's what a lot of folks will earn and see. It's like it's an immutable contract. Contracts pronounced. Um, there's a good, foundation backing behind it, and the DNI, and then the community's growing, exponentially. A lot of people look at the chart and they say, okay, well, the chart is in 2x or 10x tomorrow. I'm like, look at the pace of this thing. Look at the overall market. Look at crypto adoption. Look at how it's spreading. Look at the communities that know about it and have an eyeball on it. I personally think, even let's say 1 to 5, that I'm 1 to 3 years, I'm being conservative. I think actually with $5, because I've seen things go up 5,000, 10,000x, and $5 is only about 500x from where we're currently at. So think about that. So, yeah, that's why I just tell people repeatedly, don't need to be in a rush, just DCA. I know some people like need a pump tomorrow, and a lot of projects will try to get you lured in by saying there's going to be this massive pump tomorrow. You need to get in right now with everything you got. And you'll hear me say that, well, just DCA in what you're comfortable with. And that, I think some people are actually DM me, like, why are you telling people not to put all their money in, or not to not to invest a lot, because that'll get the price to go up higher. And it's like, I don't want people just to ape in and throw money at it and be uncomfortable. I want them to be comfortable so they can sustain themselves throughout this cycle. Because I say repeatedly, the bull market is short, the bear market is long. A lot of things are going to blow up, and a lot of people are going to be millionaires for like a couple of days, and then they're going to be less than what they had afterwards, because they're not going to have a system in place to know how to DCA out, understand single-sided liquidity, know how to use concentrated single-sided liquidity on these different indexes. They're not going to know this stuff. Or they're going to click on a goddamn honeypot link. A wallet draining link, and lose everything just like that. Education is very important. So I see earn, going to where, I think it's inevitable to go to. But that's a lot of this is education. And yeah, people will jump in with large amounts of money at 10 million, 50 million, and the price will probably explode up, and then it'll go back down and go back up again. But if you are just DCAing in and you're comfortable, you don't give a damn about these volatility swings. I mean, you're just collecting earn, and you're just inching your way up to be a different higher holder. It's more conservative. That's what I say when the rich get richer. It's not because they're trading every goddamn day. They're just in things that are just bringing them passive income, and they're growing that, throughout their life. It's very boring, and people say like it should be exciting and wild and crazy trading. I mean, no, like you get rich when you're in something that's making you money and it's boring. All right. And that's the system that I've learned to do well off myself. And that's why you see me repeatedly just saying just DCA. Keep comfortable, because if you're stressed about it, you're not sleeping at night, you're not eating, you're shortening your life, what are you doing? You want to get in something that gives you comfort, that takes that away. And so that's why you guys hear me say that over and over again. Just DCA in. Only you know what that amount of money is. If you only got like $1,000, maybe only $10, maybe $100. Don't put the whole goddamn thousand in at once, or don't put $500 in once. And try to time it. It's then you're gonna freak out the second it goes down 20, 30%, and you're gonna dump it, and then it's gonna retrace on you, and then you're gonna FOMO back in, and it might dip again, and then you're gonna lose all your money. I've said this so many times. That's why it's just DCAing the best. And I saw a lot of people. So I made that little video. A lot of people were dumping their entire bags because a couple of individuals are selling down to 1 million and trying to like outsmart the game instead of just DCAing the way down. I mean, if you have a long-term outlook of this thing, like I do, just take your time with it, and look into everything, that's happening, that's being built, with partnerships, connections, multi-chain options. The ecosystem is growing, the floor is rising. Understand it, look into all the flame links too. I mean, we have Creative here today talking about, 177 and everything that he's building. And I mean, it's a 20K market cap. Why not put $5 in it just to see? What is that, McDonald's? Just to see, you know what I mean?
Well, yes. I mean, I hope that eventually people will not only be focused on the price of earn. I hope that eventually people will see the full ecosystem and the different, different needs and use cases we're kind of addressing, and each Flameling token is addressing, and the whole educational aspect of it. And just take advantage of the earn ecosystem as like basically a place where they can learn and be exposed to lots of different things that are possible in crypto, because each Flameling token is run by a different person. They have different ideas. Like we have Creative here, who has like come up with his own use cases and cool NFT collection. We have, for example, also Layla. I hope we maybe can have her up next week sometime to talk about her project. She is very music focused, so that's completely different aspect that can be addressed with crypto and blockchain. And so I hope eventually we'll have this large ecosystem where it's almost like a mall where you can go and go find your niche that you're interested in, and there is something for you within the earn ecosystem. And I hope that maybe is just a reason for them to like buy a little bit of earn because they might want to use it within this ecosystem, or because they want to support the ecosystem. And it's not just to make money. Or maybe they just want to park their money there because they just like what's built around it. And it's different from just buying Ethereum or just buying, I don't know, XRP or Tezos, right? They have much different outlook on crypto and Web3. And I hope that because we're smaller and we have these different Flameling tokens within the earn ecosystem, that we can provide a little bit of a different approach, different how people are exposed to different ways how Web3 can be used. That's my hope, that eventually kind of the focus on what's the market cap of earn and what's the price and will it go up or will it go down, that this comes less and less, and people start to care about all the different things they can interact with within the ecosystem, and the different NFT collections and the different small communities they can be in. So that's my personal hope and goal for earn as a whole. I really hope that that will be the case one day.
Well,
Doesn't have to be tomorrow.
one earn is one earn. That's what they say about Bitcoin. I mean, like every single day
Exactly.
that's less
Yeah.
earned. It's only 431,160,000. You know, only one. There's only so when I'm doing these like earn giveaways, and you guys are getting one earn. I mean, imagine one earns like $1 or $5. It's only like there's only so many earn, and earn is hyperdeflationary, unlike dollars that's inflationary. And I say that because the way the tokenomics are set up with every single buy, sell, and transfer. That transfer part's important. Is burning tokens out of circulation and reflecting them back to you. You could literally just hold. I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens in the future, but I wonder if Earn goes to like $100 billion market cap. If one person is able to hold 1 million Earn tokens, is actually able to do it, and that would mean that they hold it 1 million. They would actually have $1 billion probably worth of Earn in their wallet. And I would probably argue a lot of people probably won't be able to hold even 1 million Earn tokens to $100 million market cap, let alone $1 billion market cap. I mean, it's quite a substantial amount of money. And so that's why I say like $10 worth, if you can manage to do it, just park it. I see still today people dumping their entire bags and then FOMOing in and and going out in and back. And I'm like, it's fine. The movement is burning tokens and giving tokens back to holders. And that's why I say repeatedly the floor is rising. I mean, it literally is. If you look at the chart, you can see what's called like an absolute floor. And that means that every single buy, sell, and transfer, because the burn is basically a holder at its core that is buying earn off the chart on every single transaction. That means the floor can only go to a certain point, which means the token is by design, literally, to go up on every single transaction. So all you got to do then is make it so the token just keeps moving. And there's so many mechanisms configured in Earn to make that the case with the multi-chain, with the NFTs, with the Flameling tokens buying and run off the chart. The damn chart is always moving. Even if it's not like a ton of volume every single day, it's always moving. Even you can't see the transaction, but it's always moving. And so because it's always moving, it means it's always moving up. And then it's at what pace, it's moving up. So, like I said, we're going to be expanding to the different blockchains, and those are going to add additional movement. So yeah, it's super cool, guys. It's really cool how it's designed.
So yeah, before we maybe then close out, unless someone wants to come up and speak, so we can let Creative go if he has to go somewhere else. Can you talk about, just my last question would be like, how do you see yourself involved in crypto in the future? Because you seem like passionate about several things in your life. You seem a passionate teacher, you seem a passionate graphic designer, essentially, and you seem passionate about crypto. Do you think you're going to have them all coexist, or do you think you're gonna like basically narrow it down to one thing in the future?
I would love to be full time in crypto. I mean, that would
Yeah.
be that's my hope, and that's what
Mm-hmm.
we're aiming for. My wife and I, we talked about like, what does that
Yeah.
look like? What is that kind of? How do you know? So I'm pushing for
Yeah.
Zella Boba to be super successful, and Zella Boba will get to the point where that's going to be automatic with that yield protocol that's working. The same thing with 0x177. I would hope to one day be employing people to make content for the
Mm-hmm.
Momentum media uh, place. I would be hoping so. It's not going to happen in 6 to 8 months. It may be
Yeah.
5 6 years, but
Mm-hmm.
I would love to narrow down. I don't want to be always in front of a computer designing stuff, but I want people, like-minded people, to be able
Yeah.
to help. I don't want to be in TGs. I want to pop in TG when I want to, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean I want to be lazy. I just it's not laziness. It's a shift in my priorities. So
Focus, yeah, and shifting
yeah,
focus. Yeah, I mean, that's also our goal too, right? Now it's a lot that we do ourselves, but the hope is that we get to a point where we can have lots of people around us to take part of that, and we can focus on the specific things that we are good at and want to do. I think, yeah. That's the hope, but as you say, like that's not something that you can do in a few months. That's more of a several years kind of outlook on that.
Well, yeah, and
Yeah,
then when you start a business, or like even grow a garden, you're gonna have to take care of weeds and make sure it survives. You know, a lot of people, I
yeah.
say this sometimes, a lot of people treat these projects like they're planting a garden and they're going out the next day and eating the goddamn seeds instead of giving it time to grow.
But you grow in bamboo.
Like,
What y'all do with bamboo?
It's like when I cook with our son, like he has eaten all the ingredients by the time I would finish cooking.
like, wait a minute, is that dust?
Yeah, so I'm taking my time. I'm excited. I mean, the whole idea of I feel like you guys have given me something to grow. I shout you out all the time in real life and in the crypto space, and I want you to be super successful in everything that you do. I've never wanted to be jealous of what other people have. I have a saying like how you respond when somebody gets something you think you deserve says a lot about your character. So for me to be jealous of what other people have going on or envious, it just doesn't make sense. I'm inspired by the work that you're doing. I think you guys have created a pathway. If people want to, like if all they want to do is have a dividend token, that's fine. But if they want to develop something and grow something, you guys are there to guide us and give us a pathway to do that. So I'm willing to take the time. I just hope people want to come on board with it. So
Hmm.
that's where I am mentally with it. So
Awesome. Yeah, so thank you so much, Creative, for sharing this much about yourself and your projects. Yeah, I'm super impressed by how you are doing things and how you so quickly like figured it all out, and you're still evolving and growing. And yeah, we hope we can grow together for a while. That would be amazing, and I'm looking forward what you're building. It's always fun to see because yeah, we didn't know in the beginning if these flaming tokens would actually work, if people, would even care, or they're just gonna like, pocket the percentage in the beginning and then, they dump on everyone and leave. We didn't know if we find people that are so passionate about it, but it turns out we actually have for almost all the flaming tokens. Very passionate people that put in the work, which is really fun to watch, and especially as someone like you who is creating all this awesome stuff around it and merch that I can buy. That's amazing. So no, it's a lot very encouraging, and it's very inspiring and a lot of motivation to keep going if we have people that respond to our ideas in that way. So a big thank you from us. And yeah, thanks again for coming on and talk about it. I will share, I have to fix the recording a little bit, I think, of this space because my computer crashed again. But yeah, I will put out the recording because I think there's lots of valuable stuff for people to hear. So there is that, and yeah, if no one else wants to come on and talk or ask a question, I think we're gonna close out this space. Do you have something to add, Michael?
um, no, yeah, I was just gonna say again, I said every single space. Yeah, guys, just go out there and, DCA. If you guys see,
Me no, me no.
yeah, you see, I know what you'll be surprised. People don't know actually. I gotta say it over and over again. Jesus, the message. If you guys, I enjoy the messages that I get from folks actually saying, "Oh, I have no idea what to do." I'm like, it sounds like you really overinvested way too much. They're like this, you got to do this, and I'm like, "Did you DCA?" I was like, "Yeah, I did." I'm like, and I was like, I feel like saying how much because like some of these dips actually are not. They should not be stressful to people. I mean, like it goes back to Bitcoin. Bitcoin went to 70,000 and back down to 15. If you're just DCing on the way down and the way up, you're doing very well right now, even on Bitcoin. And that's the top cryptocurrency out there. But yeah, DCA in, the bull run's here. If you are earn already, every single buy, sell, and transfer, you're getting reflections. Like I said, even on the transfer part, a lot of tokens, for whatever reason, don't do that, which I think is a way of just adding additional value, making it a true reflection token. So we have a lot of stuff cooking. up for earn. Like I said, maybe the next few days, maybe a week, I'm going to be announcing our next blockchain that we're going to be expanding to. So keep an eye out for that. That's going to be super cool. And yeah, if you guys don't know already, you can buy Earn on Base Chain. The contract is on the website. We're working on getting it on CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap. So make sure you pull the contract from the official site. We are still building up the LP over there, but we're going to stay on PancakeSwap. That's right. You can buy Earn Base on PancakeSwap. In the future, we will be having Flameling Dividends Reward tokens launching on Base Chain. I think that Base Chain is going to make some good moves in the future. I see they're now acceptable on Rarible and still acceptable on OpenSea. So we're going to be expanding our ecosystem out there down the line. So keep an eye out on that and stay active in the community. Like I say, I throughout the day do random airdrops to active community members, just sending out earn to anyone that's in the TG. So if you guys are there, definitely join the Telegram. There's a little button you can click on saying grab for earn tokens. It's literally just free earn. And remember, earn's hyperinflationary. So if you get one token, you're getting a token out of a system that is basically burning tokens in every single transaction. So take advantage of it and get a collection. You get 100,000, you go mint your own NFT. Flames or Flamelings, they also have their own special perks to them itself. We're not going to go into that again right now, but maybe we'll spin up a space later and talk about that more for those that are interested. So yeah, that's all I got. Yeah, I appreciate everyone for tuning in. If anyone has any questions or anything to add, definitely feel free to. But what do you think, Nadina? Want to close the space out?
Yeah, or anything that you want to add, Creative?
No, I'm good. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you for the time. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, no, I think then we'll shut this down. We'll be around maybe in VC later or another space that is not recorded. But yeah, otherwise we're gonna be back with our Earn Crypto Talk on Monday at 9 a.m. But yeah, over the weekend we usually sporadically also are available on VC or the space, and certainly in the TG. So yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. It was a great space, and yeah, until next time.
All right, take care, everyone. Later.
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.